What's going on, everybody? Super Zombie here, back for another video, and today we're going to be talking about something very special. At the date of this recording, this will be important later, don't worry about it. It is currently April 18th, 2020, and Dungeon still has not come out yet. Now, this is really a before Dungeons thing, because you want to get it before it goes expensive. There is, in my opinion, a piece of armor that is completely underwritten. And that is the Protector armor set. Now, a lot of people are telling me, Luca, I can't find any good opportunities to get a armor set that tanks well. And I'm thinking, well, let me look through the dragon set. There has to be one. And I think Protector has always been underlooked as a set, and I think it's actually a better set than it lets on because of the stat bonus. Increases the defense of each armor piece by 1%, of each missing HP. So, let's pull out our calculators here, and let's go to desktop capture here real quick. So if we go to our calculator here, and if we say we have 1,100 health, which is what about the average player has. I have about 1,200 health. That's not a big deal, though. So, you start, and the base health of this armor set is 690, without growth or prot, which in itself is real good. And then, let's say you're down to, maybe 100 health. Suddenly, that's plus 1,000 defense. Think about that for a second. That's crazy. Those are some crazy high numbers. Like, this is a really OP set, and I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody else talk about this yet, because the set, at the moment, is only about 400k if you buy it off auction. It is the most insane thing, and obviously for dungeons, as far as we're aware right now, we're going to need a tanker, a mage, and damage. So in this video, we're going to talk about all three. But I just wanted to get that off the bat. So I think the cheapest alternative to tanking is the Protector Dragon armor set. Now, the second armor piece I want to talk about for tanking is the Tier 12 Perfect Armor. Now, if you don't know about this armor set, it's basically one of the most expensive armor sets in the game. It's probably about 20 to 30 mil, but it gives you about 1,700 defense and about 1,300 health. It's a spectacular armor set, and I also think it's kind of underrated. So that's an amazing tank set. If you can afford that, definitely recommend to buy it. Alright, now we're going to move on to the next section of this video, which is damage. Now, damage is very, very important because that is what most of the players are going to be wanting to do, but very few of them are going to be able to do it. Now, there are 3 to 4 types of sets I want to be talking about. You might say, well, Luca, why 3 to 4? Can't there only be 3 or 4? I will get into that. Give me a second. So, the first set is Superior Armor. Obviously, if you can get your hands on Superior Armor, that is a spectacular set. My editor should be showing stats of it on screen right now. So that's amazing. And it's a great set for damage. You could do up to, I've seen people do hundreds of thousands of damage with it per hit. The next set is going to be a Strong Dragon set with the Tarantula Helmet. Now, the Tarantula Helmet is good for the extra bonus you see down there, which is radioactive, which is 1% crit damage for every 10 strength. So I do a lot of forging, so I have 249 strength, which is a lot. So I have an absurd amount of strength, which means I get a ton more damage. So that's the second set, which is a cheaper alternative to the Superior set, but still about 8 to 10 mil. Then we have the Monster Hunter set, or Monster Raider set, which my editor will also show stats for on screen right now, because I don't have that set on me. at the moment, but that is one of the best sets. That is the best damage sets for the amount of money it is. And it's only about 1 to 2 million coins to make, or to make or buy on the auction. It doesn't really matter. And the special ability, which I'm sure you can see on screen right now, is for Monster Hunter Raider. I don't know, I might be getting these wrong. Is for the lower one, which I believe is Monster Raider. It's 25% damage that you take 25% less damage, and you do 25% more damage. And you make that by using spider boots, creeper leggings, zombie chestplate, and skeleton helmet. Now, there's an alternative to this set. The secret set bonus of the secret set is if you put tarantula boots instead. Now, what tarantula boots will do is they increase the special ability by 10%. So instead of it doing that low of a percent of 25, it will go to 35%. So it will 35% less damage taken from any mob and 35% more damage given to any mob. That's a really awesome damage set. It's almost as good as Superior or the Strong Dragon set that I talked about. Now, for one of the so those were two expensive builds. Now the next section is the mage section, which is magic, potions. You need a ton of mana. So, here are the sets you're going to need. Now, I don't have all the sets, but my editor's going to show the stats for the ones I don't have on screen. So, what we're going to need to do right now is we're going to go Crystal Armor is definitely going to be a set you need because of this. Now, when you're using spell casting and whatever stats you're using, you probably notice that you need a lot of mana to do that. Now, the crystal set basically gives no stats whatsoever. It's a really bad set, except for the set bonus. So if we go over here to a point where there's a lot of light next to this torch, suddenly we have 1,100 mana. That's crazy. Now, the special ability of this is you get more mana depending on the light level. So what you want to do is get your mana to a high amount, 700 is good, and then once you take your mana off, you can see that even though your mana count went back down, you still have that mana. So then I could use that to do whatever. And then from there, you want to put on your Wise armor set, which I don't have, but like I could AOT all the way up and back down here. It'd still be fine, just about. So next you want to do is your Wise armor set. That is really good because it lowers the cost of all mana. So now you have a lot of mana, and it doesn't cost a lot. So that's spectacular. So that was the armor segment of tanking and damage and all of that stuff. Now we're going to move on to the sword segment. Now, what makes a good sword for tanking? Now, that doesn't really matter, because a big part of that is going to be working with the mage, because the mage is definitely going to help you with your ornate zombie sword if you're going to be tanking. Now, it doesn't really matter what sword you use with this set bonus, so I'll just move on from that one. Next we have is damage. So, the best combo that you can do is a maxed AOTD with a legendary dragon pet. Now, most people can't get their hands on that. That's the absolute most expensive option. The second most expensive option, which is about 50 million versus 100 to 200 million, or actually 500 million, I mean, that's a much more expensive build than 2 to 300, is the 50 million Midas. So you get a max 50 million Midas, and then boom, you do a really good amount of damage with that as well. Now, the cheap alternative is this, a max aspect of the dragons with nothing else besides your regular damage set. Now, I recommend Superior set if you're going to use aspect of the dragons if you can get it, because Superior set boosts the aspect of the dragons. And yeah, so that's damage. Now to mana. Now, for mana, what you're going to want to use is the following swords. The Ornate Zombie Sword. You're going to want to use the Wand of Healing, which I guess isn't really a sword. And you're going to want to use whatever other sword that you can. That's going to be your main damage sword, even though you're not going to be doing a ton of damage, but just to defend yourself with. So those are the main 3 sticks or swords or whatever you want to call them that you're going to use. And then you're also going to need a ton of potions and stuff. I'll make a separate video on that if you guys want to see that. And yeah, that's the end of the dungeons video. If you guys enjoyed, kind of be PogChamp if you liked and subbed, you know. Really appreciate it around here. And yeah, have a wonderful day, everybody.